Hi everyone. My presentation is on Joseph S. Lalli. Joseph S. Lalli was born in 1952 and he passed away in 2001. While he attended Lehigh University to get his PhD, he wrote hundreds of papers on research. He also served on the board of editors for JABA for two terms. And he studied the behavioral processes of individuals with developmental disabilities. The first article I found on Joseph S. Lalli was titled In Remembrance, Joseph S. Lalli, 1952 to 2001. And this article just gave me all that background knowledge that I just mentioned, who he was, where he was born, where he went to school, what he did, what he studied. The next article I found was titled Comparison of Sight Word Training Procedures with Validation of the Most Practical Procedure in Teaching Reading for Daily Living. And then I also found an article that was written 2 years later titled Review of Research on Sight Word Instructions. And those, so obviously both of those articles were on sight words. The first one was his first experience, and then he kind of just did a review. So he examined the different procedures, which he mainly focused on errorless learning and feedback only, for helping individuals with disabilities recognize and comprehend words by sight. And what he found was that the errorless teaching procedure worked best. So he recommended that teachers begin using feedback only, or they can use a simple errorless teaching procedure. That's not to say that the feedback only didn't work at all. It still worked, but he just found that the errorless teaching method worked best. I also found an article on titled Response Covariation, the relationship between correct academic responding and problem behavior. In this article, Lalli and his colleagues examined how responding accurately to spelling questions and aggression covaried. And they were able to teach boys how to perform better at spelling, and therefore the boys' aggression behavior decreased as they got better. The next article I found was titled Competition Between Positive and Negative Reinforcement in the Treatment of Escape Behavior. So in this study, they tested whether using positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement worked better. What they found was that for escape maintained behavior, that escape maintained behavior decreased more when they used positive reinforcement as opposed to when they used negative reinforcement. And then I also found an article on functional analysis. So it was titled Functional Analysis and Treatment of Aberrant Behavior. And in this article, Lalli and his colleagues concluded that although the current work that has been successful, but there is still room for improvement in regards to functional analyses. And he recommended that more attention be paid by the analyzers to generalize and maintain behaviors, to low rate problem behaviors, and to extend functional analysis to academic and social behaviors. So Lalli is obviously, he passed away in 2001, but if he were still alive, my interview with him, I would like to ask him, which of your studies did you view as most meaningful and why? What was your inspiration for working within the field of behavior analysis? Do you have a role model? And if so, who is it and why are they your role model? What is the most important thing you've learned from studying and teaching individuals with developmental disabilities? And my favorite question, do you think that behavior analytic interventions work just as well with neurotypical individuals as they do with individuals with developmental disabilities? And in my references page. All right, thank you all for listening.